Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now Bitcoin is still in extreme fear while the price oscillators are bottoming out. In just a moment, I'll be explaining exactly what that means, and I will be covering the Bitcoin chart no one is watching later in this video. So definitely stick around all the way to the end of this video so that you're not missing out on any of this important information. And just before we jump into it, you might as well leave a like down below. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe with notifications turned on for more updates just like this every single day. But with all of that out of the way, let's get straight to what this video is about. It's right here on the Bitcoin US dollar chart on the 6-hour time frame, and what we have here is the same bullish divergence that I was talking about yesterday on the channel. So if you want more of a detailed analysis about this bullish divergence, I definitely recommend you watching my last Bitcoin update video. But basically all you need to know is the price and the RSI is clearly diverging, and this is known as a bullish divergence. But considering this point of resistance, we are also in a descending parallel channel. So what this means for Bitcoin is in the short term, yes, we are still in a short-term downtrend. So technically, if we do see a little bit more bearish price action, that should not be so surprising in a short-term downtrend. But considering the amount of bullish divergences that we've seen here and the size of this entire bullish divergence, looking at over the next few weeks from now, it is very likely we will continue to see reduced selling pressure. But remember, it's important to get the timeframes right. In the short term, we are technically still in a downtrend, but going into more of the medium term, if you want to call it that, in a few weeks from now, then it does become more likely, according to this bullish divergence, that we could see reduced selling pressure and perhaps more sideways price action or a slight move back to the upside. But obviously a reversal in this short-term downtrend entering into a new uptrend does not get confirmed until we break above this point of resistance, which is coming in at around 49,000 approximately. But really we need to break into higher highs and start forming higher lows on the charts as well to confirm a new short-term uptrend. But with that being said, looking at the daily time frame, you can clearly see that we are still making higher lows on the daily chart and also higher highs on the daily chart. So with that being said, we are clearly in a daily uptrend. Despite having all of the recent bearish price action over the past 1 month, this is technically only a shorter term downtrend. And combine that with the fact that we are sitting in extreme fear according to the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, which by the way, this Bitcoin chart on the daily time frame simply shows us the times that we were sitting in extreme fear, which is what these green zones are just here. And historically speaking, the times that we were sitting in extreme fear worked out to be amazing buying opportunities for the longer term. And right now we are still sitting in extreme fear, while the price oscillators, so the RSI and the MACD, are bottoming out here. We are beginning to flatten out towards those oversold areas, similar to all of these previous market bottoms. Now, at the moment, we haven't actually seen a bullish cross in the daily MACD just yet, but we are getting very close. And once again, the daily RSI is beginning to see a small bounce back to the upside. So if this continues further to the upside, then that can act as extra confirmation of the Bitcoin bottom coming into play and getting us ready for the next move to the upside in the coming months. This sort of thing has happened time and time again. I was telling you the same thing at the end of September. I was also telling you the same thing back during June and July, saying that during those times back then, I was accumulating a lot of Bitcoin. And as of right now, I am currently dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin. And I'm only dollar cost averaging because if we do end up seeing a little bit more bearish price action in the shorter term, I could just continue to dollar cost average because I'm not going all in. And during all of these great buying opportunities, when the overall market is sitting in extreme fear, you'll notice that the majority of the market participants, so people in the comment section or people tweeting over on Twitter, start flipping more and more bearish, because at the bottom, that is when the most amount of people are bearish. And then on the flip side, when the majority of the market is flipping bullish, that is how you know we could be due for a little bit of a pullback. So right now, we are definitely due for some sort of relief rally, once again, in the coming weeks and months, not necessarily tomorrow. We also have this huge supports level. This is the 55-week SMA, and this exact moving average provided massive supports at the end of July. And also the moment Bitcoin retested this moving average back in the middle of 2020, that was setting us up for a lot of bullish price action coming over the next few months. And by the way, this moving average is coming in at around 45,000 US dollars per Bitcoin. So obviously it's important for us to continue to close above 45K. Now, seeing a wick below 45,000 is all right, just as long as we don't see a weekly candle close below 45,000. And now getting into some Bitcoin on-chain analysis. I've hidden my face cam so you can see all of this data behind me right here. The longer term subscribers would already know about this chart, but basically this black line right here is the Bitcoin to US dollar chart on the daily time frame, and this purple line is on the same time frame, but it shows us the Bitcoin all exchanges reserve. So essentially the total amount of Bitcoin sitting on exchanges. And you'll notice that the Bitcoin on exchanges has been on a massive downtrend ever since around the middle of this year, but especially just recently, we've seen a massive amount of Bitcoin getting withdrawn from exchanges, showing us that there's a lot of big players entering into the market and taking their Bitcoin off exchanges. And you might be wondering, well, how do you know that these are big players players withdrawing from exchanges? Well, looking at this peak right here, which was the end of November, at that point in time, approximately 2.38 million Bitcoin was sitting on exchanges, compared to right now, approximately 2.287 million Bitcoin is now sitting on exchanges. So basically, this month alone, in just over 2 weeks, roughly about 93,000 Bitcoin has been withdrawn from exchanges, which is currently equal to over 4.3 billion US dollars. So we are seeing literally billions and billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin getting withdrawn from exchanges every week. And for the complete beginners out there, this is an extremely bullish signal for the slightly longer term, talking about the next few weeks and months, because as there's less and less Bitcoin on exchanges, that means there's less and less Bitcoin to go around, which essentially decreases the available supply of Bitcoin, making Bitcoin more scarce. A few other recent examples of major Bitcoin withdrawals from exchanges was back at the end of July this year, as we were getting ready for a major move to the upside, and also during the September correction, just before we experienced a major move to the upside in the coming months. Normally, if Bitcoin were to enter a much more bearish time period like what we saw during May, June, and July, a lot of Bitcoin would be getting deposited onto exchanges, which means the big players are looking to sell that Bitcoin if they're putting it onto exchanges. And that's also the type of thing that we normally see in a bear market, for example, as well. We see quite a lot of Bitcoin moving onto exchanges, getting ready to be sold. But right now, it is the exact opposite. We are seeing the big players move billions of dollars off exchanges, getting ready for another major move to the upside in the coming months. A different perspective behind this is also looking at the stable coins on exchanges, right now sitting close to all-time highs. And obviously, the more stable coins on exchanges, the more bullish that is for Bitcoin, because having all of these stable coins sitting on exchanges, these stable coins are basically buying power that is sitting on the sidelines waiting to be deployed into Bitcoin or the overall crypto markets. And then what we have here is the Bitcoin all exchanges stablecoins ratio. So once again, this black line right here is the Bitcoin to US dollar chart on the daily time frame, but this purple line right here shows us the amount of Bitcoin on exchanges divided by the amount of stablecoins on exchanges. So if this purple line is up high, that means the amount of Bitcoin compared to stablecoins on exchanges is relatively high, and the amount of stablecoins on exchanges compared to Bitcoin is relatively low. And then at the other end of the spectrum, when this purple line is sitting at these lower levels, that means there's much more stablecoins on exchanges compared to Bitcoin, and really not much Bitcoin on exchanges. So what that actually means for Bitcoin is when this purple line is high, more Bitcoin can be sold on exchanges in comparison to stablecoins that are easily available to buy Bitcoin, which means if the purple line is up high, then the potential selling pressure is higher at that stage. And then as this purple line moves to the downside, that potential selling pressure that was previously getting stored on exchanges is being released into the market. And normally in the coming months, if this is happening, we're due to see some bearish price action coming into play. But when this purple line is heading in the opposite direction, first of all, at these lowest lows just here, that is when the potential buying power that is sitting on the sidelines is at its greatest. And then as this moves to the upside, the buying power that was at these lows is getting released into the market, which normally comes in confluence with the price action moving to the upside. And so what we've seen over the past 2 months approximately is almost constant selling pressure entering into the market. But looking at what's been happening more recently over the past 1 week approximately, this selling pressure has flattened out while the Bitcoin price is forming those divergences that I was telling you about in the beginning of this video. And we normally see this happen when Bitcoin is approaching a market bottom, as you can see. And by the way, the further this purple line goes to the downside now, the more bullish we will be later on when the inevitable bullish price action begins to kick in the coming months. And that bullish price action really gets confirmed once this purple line just here begins moving back to the upside. And of course, I'll continue to keep you guys updated on all of this important on-chain analysis. And finally, looking at the Bitcoin dominance chart on the daily time frame, we have seen another short-term dip over the last couple days, which means in the shorter term, the altcoins have actually been holding up a little bit better than Bitcoin, but we still have that major support level coming in at around 40% dominance for Bitcoin. So technically, it does still remain a possibility that we could find support at that level. And if that's the case, if the Bitcoin dominance continues to the upside later on, then that wouldn't really be good for the altcoins. On average, the altcoins would be underperforming against Bitcoin if the Bitcoin dominance moves back to the upside. But if the Bitcoin dominance starts breaking below 40% and 39%, then in that case, we'll be making a brand new lower low on the chart, which would be extremely bullish for the altcoins. And if something like that were to play out, then that could potentially signal to us that we are beginning another short-term altcoin season, or possibly the continuation of this previous altcoin season that we were in over the past 1.5 to 2 months. And if you want to get extra crypto crypto content completely for free and real-time updates on the overall crypto markets. Make sure you follow me over on my Twitter, and the link to my Twitter is in the description down below and also in the pinned comment. And if you got some value out of this video, please make sure to leave a like down below. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe with notifications turned on for more updates just like this every single day. We are getting so close now to 100,000 subscribers on this channel, and honestly, I cannot thank you enough. Seriously, I appreciate every single one of you. And before you click off, you might as well check out one of these uploads if you haven't already. But that is everything that I have to say for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next video.